aka Sabiat, a young girl. I started off as a model here in Jamaica. Kingsley picked me up on the street, and then shortly thereafter Mickey, James did. I modeled for a few years, and then I was plucked off of the catwalk and straight into television acting. And from there I started doing makeup on the side because I was fascinated by it, so I became a makeup artist, which that lasted for 10 years. When I moved to the States, I majored in theatre arts, my concentration in acting for my degree, and continued acting in theatre for a while still doing makeup. I ended up studying dance post-college and became a professional dancer and danced with Nina Bousson Contemporary Move, which is a contemporary ballet company, DRP Dance, Millennium Dance Company, a few dance companies. And while I was doing that, I picked up the camera and started taking pictures. I started taking pictures because I was doing an elective in college when I was studying acting. I just did this as an elective to fill up my semester. There was no intention to become a photographer. And I just love this thing because it seemed endless, because you could merge science and art at the same time. So it satisfied both sides of the brain, you understand? No intention to make this a career. It's just like, oh, I really like this. I love psychology and philosophy, and so all of that finds its way in my art all the time. But I find that the way I go about producing work is from the theatre philosophy. I like to work in teams. I like to work in groups. I love collaborating. I'm always trying to pull somebody in some way or another to go, how are you going to put your voice in here? Let's pool talents together. So it's always about pooling talents together. I feel like you have to work in communities, and this is the tenet of the theatre. And so I work as a theatre artist, as a photographer. So that's really me as an artist, I guess. I'm just trying to reach people and merge everything that I've explored and merge everybody I know and just keep everything on a fluid journey of love and light. It is called Recon Differenzierte Möglichkeit, and that's German for reconstruction, differentiated possibility. But differentiated possibility, why? Because two things. I was going through a need to change how I was working in photography, and about a year and a half ago I met with a wonderful photographer named Mark Sink. I have to big up Mark Sink in Denver, who works in wet plate collodion processing, and he just launched me into this whole world of antique and alternative photographic methods that just freaked me out. And it freaked me out because it was changing how I wanted to do photography. It wasn't the instant shot and about the shoot, but always about the single image you were making, because each single image took so long to make, and it becomes very tangible. So that's one part of differentiated possibilities that it's about. It's about delving into process, learning process, working through process, and humbling yourself through process of unpredictable work. Because half of this work decides what it's going to do on its own. You don't decide everything. You're not in control. So there was that. And this aligned itself earlier this year, 2012, the year of the dragon for so many of us, aligned itself with some difficulties I was going through personally. And so I was going through personal process while going through this photographic process to make this work for the show. And so the two became intrinsically tied, and very, very, it's been an evolution, and a painful evolution, and a joyous evolution, and a rebirth into what I don't know, but I know that I've passed through something into something else. And so that is why when I created this work and started thinking about how am I going to use these processes to create each singular piece, and how each piece is supposed to follow each other, and what the walk is supposed to be, and where you come out. I wanted it to mirror process, change, and rebirth, evolution. I wanted very specifically to do that, because I'm like, it was just too intertwined, the personal and the work, every single day, to wake up and work on a piece and fail a transfer and have to do it again tomorrow and just believe that it's just going to work somehow and just believe in the gods. That is what this project is about. Each piece It makes up the line of a 7-line poem composed by Steve Urchin Wilson. He and I got together and just vibed and philosophically, reasoned for a whole night about the work, about what we've been through for the year, about, what life is about when you go through changes and you're knocked down and you have to climb yourself back up, and just coming to understand. And out of that, I said, okay, so out of that, I want phrases for each piece. I don't want one-word things. And he and I have been working collaboratively in poetry for a couple of years now. So I said, Steve, now that you know what this is about, let's write down some words and put a poem together, and each line will be the title of each work. So the titles are intrinsically tied back into the work again. Whatever the changes are, what I know I wanted for the show was that if anyone didn't understand the work, if they loved the work, if they hated the work, none of that is my concern. My concern is that they start the walk here and that they feel something when they come out here, even if they feel disgust or feel confusion. I know they can start it that way. If they feel curious at the end and tired at the beginning, whatever, that they go through a change, because that's what I went through to make this work. That's what we all go through in life, no matter what we're doing. So, there, that's the work. I'd already been in the learning process for months before I submitted to this, but then once they accepted it, then it was sort of launching into, okay, sketch out the actual thing that I want to do,
right.
And start booking all the photo shoots I needed to do for it, because so many photo shoots within each piece. Practicing, I had to make a lot of pinhole cameras. I had my bathroom set up as a darkroom for 4 months. It was so annoying after a while. I'm like, I want lights in my bathroom again. I was doing pinhole photography, like all the trees in the work are all pinhole images. And then practicing on different substrates before making a final decision as to whether I was going to use canvas or glass or plain acrylics or, so there's a lot, the first couple of months, there's a lot of experimenting. Once I plotted out exactly what I was going to do, then it was starting to make, because each piece took forever to make, and I got a lot of help. I feel very blessed, and I've been humbled for the past few months, because I can sit here, I was going to say stand here, I can sit here and say, I have a list of 23 people between New York and Jamaica who stepped into my studio, either gave money or gave time, and I mean hours of time, or days, or for some a couple of weeks of committed time, to help prep the canvas, help cut plexi, help print stuff, because the photo transfer process is you have images printed on 20 to 24 pound paper. That's the best paper to use, and you lift the ink from that paper onto a substrate. So a whole lot of transfers from paper, a whole lot of acrylic used, a whole lot of paper colors, a whole lot of water needed, a whole lot of supplies needed to create, more things. And I just had so much help. And I have the music by Sawandi, by the way, Sawandi Simon, sound magician, for big him up. The woman who I used to dance with on Dance 4, Nina Busson, who I've collaborated with on many projects, she helped to make the corset, and after I gave her my design, she helped to construct the shell of it. And the skirt we took from an old show that we did, where we had a tall woman on stage. It was perfect for never seen. This whole costume hasn't been used in 8 years, but there's been so many people who have helped, which sort of spurred on the process. But yeah, so it took a while, and I think it would have been a year-long work to do if I was doing it on my own. And the only reason why it is finished in time is because of the help I got. Because when people help you, God, I'm gonna cry. When people help you, you have to put your best foot forward as a way of thanks to them.